All right, the Renegade Killer Bee. Here's my question set for you. Um, how strong is the force, your feeling, your extroverted feeling power? How influential are you with people? Like how easily can you walk into a room and just become that that cherished leader, that person that everybody elects to lead out of a love for the leader and everything else like that. How influential is that for you? And give some examples if you could, or however you might answer that one.
Okay, where do I start? I think I'm actually a very influential person. I'm always trying to better people, and I'm like always trying to, I don't know, like help people, reach out to people. Kind of like if I see them going down a wrong path, I kind of urge them to go down the right path, if that makes sense. I've always been really good at getting people to do what I want to do, not in a manipulative way, like not in a nasty way to make like to the detriment of them. But if I want something from someone, it's always really easy for me to get. Like I don't have to do a lot of persuading. It doesn't work all the time for some people. Like when some people have a bee in their bonnet, they have a bee in their bonnet and they're not going to do it. But yeah, I think I'm a pretty influential person when it comes to getting people to do what I want or take the right direction. That I don't want to sound cocky, like I think that I'm always right, because I'm definitely not always right. But most of the time, I have my head on my shoulders and I know what's going to be beneficial for someone and what's not. In regards to like walking into a room and being like that leader type, I kind of just take that role. Like I'm very quiet at first because I need to get to know people and see their interactions with each other before I actually open up, and then people realize, like people think I'm shy at first, and then when they meet me, like then when they actually start talking to me and get it like carrying a conversation with me, they realize that I actually am a very strong-minded person, and I don't know what, I guess people just admire that. Some people are scared of that. I've had people that are scared to say anything that that pisses me off or anything like that. But I don't know, like I don't mind myself like being following other people, but I've never really followed other people, if that makes sense. Like even in school, I was always kind of like the outcast. Like I would do my own thing, and if people didn't like that, well then to hell with them, I don't care. And a lot of people admire those qualities. As you get older, people admire that, and they admire the individuality and not being, you know, just another person in the crowd. I hope that kind of explained it a bit. If you want to know more, just, I don't know, be more like specific with what you want to know, I suppose. But I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your questions. But yeah, I find that I make friends very easily. I don't have I've never really had that big family friendship group. I have a lot of individual friends. A lot of them actually don't really like each other, or they don't get along, or I don't see them all at the same time. Like some do, like some like all know each other and stuff, but my closest friends, they don't really see eye to eye. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, like I find that I can make friends really easily, and I can be pretty influential, like even on like in my work life and stuff like that. Like if someone who's higher, so I'm not afraid to speak up and talk to someone who's higher up if what I think they're doing is wrong, and usually that's it. There's no argument from them at all. It's just, yeah, I guess you're right, and move on. Like they don't there's no confrontation there. I think I'm pretty good at dealing with confrontation, I think, and I think I'm pretty good at yeah, I don't know, making friends, and I'm able to be a leader because I guess I'm a confident person. Like I don't mind taking a stand and doing what I have to do. I don't mind teaching other people how to do things. I just do it anyway. I can't help myself. Like even at work, like if I've been doing something and then like a new person's coming in that needs to be trained, I tell them everything that they need to do. Ask them to ask me any questions or whatever. Like I don't know, I just kind of take that role. Like even though I'm not a manager or like, you know, I'm not higher up, I still do that anyway. I've always kind of done that. Like, and even in like group projects, like when I'm doing, because I work with a lot of people, like we do a lot of performances and stuff, and I guess I kind of just take that role. Like I let people have their own ideas and stuff, and then I kind of bring it together. Like I'm very good at solidifying things. So I guess that's why, I don't know, like I've never really had people, like I've had people like argue with me, but I'm usually pretty good at talking people around, and like if that makes sense. But yeah, I think like I don't want to keep talking too much about it, but if there's anything else you want to know about that, then yeah, ask me a specific question. But yeah, the only examples I can give you is just, yeah, at work I find that I'm pretty influential even with people that are more higher up than me. I find that I make friends pretty easily. Like it takes me, I kind of suss people out before I say anything, because I know I know what's going to make them happy, what's going to make them sad, like what makes them tick. Like it's almost like I study people before I meet them, and then I'm like, yeah, like I can say this and see that's their reaction and stuff. And I'm always very honest and very to the point, and I think people admire that as well. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next question.
The next question. What general mindset motivates you to influence people? Do you tend to influence people in the social arena primarily with the thought of doing it for their best interest, for your own, or is it more just the thrill of the interaction entirely? What is actually going to cause you to what is going to cause you to act like that, or what is going to cause you to have that sort of effect on people?
Okay, I think I kind of answered this question before when I was talking about how I influence people. I do it, of course, for my benefit, but also for their benefit as well, because my benefit is from their benefit. Like I don't want people suffering and having a bad time. I don't want people doing the wrong things, because that's a negative aura for me. Like that's a negative thing for me. Like I'm one of those, I like everybody to be happy, but I also like myself to be happy. I can also, like, I'm pretty diplomatic. Like I can understand both sides of the story. Like I can agree to disagree. I do like interacting with people. I do like, I'm very much a people person. Like I'm not one of those people, like I know people that have to be alone. Like they have to set themselves away from other people, like for a couple of days, a week even. Some people just need a few hours. Like they can't function, they can't cope being around other people. I can be around people all the time, and I might need like maybe a day to myself, but that's only because I get so busy and I want to start, you know, doing what I want to do. I don't mind other people being there, but I also don't want them to be bored when I'm just doing my own thing, like my own activities. I care about how they feel. Like I don't mind them being around, but I also don't want them to be bored. So yeah, I try to influence people for their benefit first and foremost, but it's for my benefit as well, because if they're doing something that I disagree with, which is I'm usually valid in my reasons for disagreeing with someone, I try to make them see the light, and people eventually do. Sometimes it takes them a very, very long time before they're like, oh yeah, but you know, that happens with a lot of people. But yes, I do it for the interaction. Like I'm a very social person, and I also do it to just better people. Like I've always been like that. But yeah, I hope that answers that question. But yeah, if you need me to expand on it, then yeah, ask away.
The next question is, have you ever felt like, or do you ever feel like a social automaton? Do you ever feel like, I had a video with another personality on this, and we kind of talked about it. Do you ever feel like you can go to any sort of a group, and you can interact with the people and everything else like that, you can reciprocate what actions are necessary and play the motions out, and just fulfill the role of being another person in the room, just being a very accommodating person in the room. I'm curious if that would fit you or not, or if you're independent, if you're a bit more independent than that, if you're a little less accommodating and more genuine to yourself, and just kind of curious as to what you'd think of a concept like that.
That's a really good question, actually. Like I said earlier, that I kind of suss people out. Like, I study people before I make my decisions on how I'm going, like what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. I'm one of those people that definitely thinks before I say things. So yeah, I can be that accommodating person. Like, I can be in the room with just any group of people. Especially people that I don't know, because I've often been to parties and like have not known anyone except the person that's invited me, and I'm very good at making friends, like making new friends, like friends that I will keep from those experiences. I am a very independent person. I do what I want to do, basically, and I'm one of those people that doesn't care what anybody else thinks. I'll take their opinion on board, but I won't necessarily do anything about it. People have told me that I'm not very good with constructive criticism, I guess because I feel like I know what's right and what's wrong, and I will think about things and I'll try and do things a different way, but I don't think I've ever really changed that much from somebody telling me that I'm doing something wrong, because I'm not out there to make enemies. I'm not out there to give myself a hard time, if that makes sense. It's a very hard question, but yes, I can be that accommodating person, and I'll sometimes not say things to a certain individual because I know that that's just going to cause drama or it's going to cause a problem, and I'll think about a way to bring it up or word it at another point. Sometimes I feel like there's just no point because I'm not going to see this person again, or it's not going to be a big issue, but if I feel that they can be a good friend of mine, I will definitely tell them how I feel. So yes, I can be the person, the quiet person that, will sit there and not, when you get those very boisterous people that are very opinionated and loud and I am right and you are wrong. I'm not like that. I can be like that sometimes depending on the topic of conversation, like something I feel very passionate about, but most of the time I can just sit there and go, okay, like, I'm definitely not a passive person, because I don't like passive people. It makes me really angry. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. These are topics I've never really spoken about before, so this is really interesting for me. But so answering your question, I am independent. I'm definitely not passive, but I definitely do study and assess the situation before I make any sort of moves, if that makes sense.
And the next question kind of relates again, but I think it should still relate. Is it lonely being social and having so many people around you, but not exactly having, I guess, like a sense of self? And I'm not saying that that's absolutely what you have to have that way, but for myself, even, I can notice that, and I would think it would be, more so for yourself. Do you feel like, you can have a lot of fun with all these people and do all these different things, and know just so many people and just be constantly connected, having fun, but at the same time lonely because like the interactions may be real and in the moment and everything else like that, but they're not 100% honest. They're not deep to the depth. They're not, they're so superficial. They are happy. They are in the moment. They are so many things, but they're superficial. They're not. People are interacting with you because you're choosing to present or interact in a way that facilitates the group interaction, or facilitates the interactions that you would prefer to have. You could be blunt and honest in some situations and not in others, or whatever it takes. But do you ever get that sense of loneliness? Is that something that's ever troubled you, or have you ever thought of something like that?
You really hit the nail on the head with a lot of the things you said with that question. Like I said earlier, like I can be blunt and honest in some situations, and then I can, stand back, assess the situation, or just know that if I say something, it's just not going to be a good idea. I do often get very lonely, and I envy people a lot of the time that have, I've never, like I said earlier, I've never had that really big friendship group, like the really large, like, the same people, they went to school together, they all hang out, they always have parties, they always go and do things together. I've never had that. It's usually like individuals like that I hang out with. Like, for example, I'm going out with just one friend today. Like, this is one of my best friends that I've known for very many years. I have 3 best friends, and I've got my partner as well. I hang out with individual people, but then when I go out to like an event, say, or a party or whatever, then that's when I have, there's the big circle of people, like, I know everyone. Like, people have said when I go out, and they're just like, God, a lot of people, like, hi, everyone's, hi, oh, how are you going? And everybody's stopping me every 2 seconds, because but it does get lonely sometimes. I have had that. Like, I think in Titanic, it's just like I feel like I'm screaming in a room at the top of my lungs and no one's listening. Like, I have felt that very much before. I do get lonely. Like, I do need that human interaction, and sometimes it's not enough. And it's true, like you do lose your sense of self. Like, you're like, who am I? What do I enjoy? Like, I'm doing all these different things and hanging out with all these different people, and it's like, that's what I meant by, like, sometimes I just need time to, like, I'll have like a day to myself to get my head back around things, because I've been so busy, and I just want to sit down and relax and be by myself. Dramatic change of costume, or clothing, whatever. Yeah, my friend knocked on the door as I was answering that question, so I had to go, but I'll continue answering it. But yeah, I do need to get my sense of self back sometimes when I'm hanging out with like lots of different people and doing lots of different stuff and going all over the place and stuff. Like, I just need to sit down and relax, watch a movie with someone that I really care about or something, or just be with someone, like one person that I really care about, that, knows me very well, that I can be my total self with, like, be angry, be sad, say whatever I want, and they still love me at the end of the day. Like, it's very, because I am very accommodating to like other people's needs and stuff. Like, I adapt to situations like very well, and adapt to like environments and other people's personalities pretty well, like meld in really well. But it is hard to be just yourself. I'm a very honest person, like, don't get me wrong, like, I don't want one of those people that like lies and stuff, but I will not say exactly what I'm thinking to unless asked or provoked to by someone, unless I feel that it's absolutely necessary sometimes, because it could hurt someone's feelings, it could be to the detriment of somebody else or whatever, so that's always playing on me. But yeah, I know what you mean when you say, like, the interactions aren't completely honest. Like, it's always so like touch and go, like bang, 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 bang. Like, I'm seeing all these people when there's no real like down to earth connection, like really talking about serious issues and having like deep and meaningful conversations. Like, I really do thrive on that, and when I meet people that I can do that with, like, I grew very attached to those people. Like, but yeah, I do need to set myself aside sometimes and just play a video game or do things that I enjoy, like something that makes me feel good. Like, sometimes I get really in a creative mood and I just gotta draw, like, I've gotta paint, I've gotta do something, I've gotta make a video, I've gotta dance, I've gotta make up like choreography, I've gotta do something, and that's when I realise like who I am again, and it makes me feel better, and I'm like, yeah, these are the things I like, these are the things I don't like, but I'm one of those people that will try anything new. Like, I went out camping with my partner, and I don't really like camping personally, but again, I adapt to the situation, and you know, I don't know, like plan steps. I'm like, well, I didn't enjoy it like these times, so I figure out why, and then how I can kind of better that and adapt to other people and compromise and stuff, I guess. Like, I like trying new things, and I'll never knock anything before I try it, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it does get very lonely, and it is hard to find genuine people that you can be yourself around, I guess. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. If there's anything else you want to know, just send me another video.
Another question would be, do you think you know of any ENTPs, which would be my type? And what would you think of them? How, I don't know how you would, know whether or not you spotted them or anything else like that. But even what do you think of NTs in general? So, I mean, well, I'll try to typify the ENTPs, but I mean, any of the theoretical bent individuals. What do you think of the geeky, quirky, sometimes a little bit of a show off, can't shut up, argumentative, but honest, sincere in some ways, and just kind of like, what do you think of that kind of and I don't know if you can get the vibe. I don't know if you can get the vibe over this medium, but I don't know if you've interacted with people that you would understand would fit within the model that way. And I'd just be kind of curious what you think of the people that can't shut up about theory and everything else like that. But we mean to have fun, but just kind of curious as to what you would think about something like that.
I think I know quite a few ENTPs. Like, I do, like, because of the things I'm into, because I'm a bit geeky myself, like I do tend to attract those kind of people, if that makes sense. Like, and the people that I get along with most are those kind of people. Like, for instance, there's like one person that was at my old work that reminds me of this person at my new work, so they've got the same kind of personality, and I think that's kind of what they are. I could be wrong, but just some of the personality traits, like they do talk a lot, and they do know a lot of stuff. Like, they're actually very highly intelligent, and they're very interesting to listen to. Like, you cannot help but listen to them, and some of the things they say, you're just like, oh my god, like why did you say that? Like they're funny and they're quirky, but sometimes like they say things that they shouldn't say, but I kind of get it in a joking way, and I can't, like, I don't know. I find that I have like really amazing conversations with these kinds of people, but at the same time I could have like a real argument with these kinds of people, but we always seem to make up in the end, if that makes sense. Like, there's people that, like, they'll have one argument with you and like that's it, that's the end. But with people that I guess would identify as ENTP, or I think that they are, like, I don't know, they seem to kind of, they don't hole up, like they don't like hold so much of a grudge, I guess. Like, they can agree to disagree and be kind of diplomatic, I guess. But I do know a lot of people like that. Some people that I know that are very wordy and mouthy and stuff, I tend to disagree with some of their opinions and stuff. I've met some before where I have not liked what they said, like especially when they've had like a few drinks and stuff as well. I've noticed like people that are like that are even like worse, and they don't think before they say or anything like that, and that's kind of annoying. I've been told by people like that they've been threatened by me. I don't know whether that's because of my intelligence or my wit or something, like, I don't know. I've also seen like kind of like a battle of the wit between two of the same personality type. Like, I think that they were both, like, as you identify, like ENTPs. Like, that was pretty interesting. It was like a battle of the wit, like, I know this and I know that, and it was really funny. It was a really interesting conversation to listen to, like, but yeah, like, I can kind of, like, most of the time I can kind of pick those people, like, straight away. I'm like, oh, here we go, like, I just kind of know. But yeah, like, I find that I become friends with these people. I enjoy listening to what they say. They often give really good advice. They have they've got a lot of talent, and they just enjoy the things that I enjoy, like appreciate the same things that I do. which is kind of nice. Like, not many people like are into sci-fi, not many people are into fantasy, and like most of the ENTPs I know, like, they're either like heavily into movies and stuff, or they're heavily into reading, and just things like that, like stuff that's kind of obscure, like that not everybody else would know about, and it's nice to have conversations about those kind of things. And I don't know, I find that their interactions with me are a lot more honest. Like, they because in a way that they're very mouthy, and often they probably don't think before they say things. Like, I don't think they ever mean to offend anybody, but they want to help, and they want to get their opinion out there, if that makes sense. I'd like to do a bit more reading to like kind of understand the personality more, but from what the tiny description that you gave me, I think I do know quite a few of those people. And I don't think I have any enemy. I'm not an enemy of any one of those people. I'm actually quite good friends with these kinds of people. So yeah, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I think there's only like one other person that I know that, like, every time like we kind of get off on the wrong foot, and they always end up apologizing to me, but it's just like, you keep doing the same thing like over and over, like, you know, you just keep saying things that offend me, and then they get offended that like I don't listen to their opinion and stuff, and it's like, it's not even about your opinion, it's about the things that you say are not very nice. I don't like people saying nasty things or making assumptions based out of thin air, like, I don't know, but they could be a completely other personality type, but it's just that in regards to like being geeky and mouthy, that's how they came across at first, and then they kind of, yeah, just went, I don't know, just kind of weird, and but anyway, yeah, so yeah, I do know, like, I think I do know quite a few people like that, but I definitely like to do a bit more reading to kind of like know about it more and be like, oh yeah, I definitely know someone like that. But yeah, for the most part, I think I like those types of people. I attract those kinds of people, like they listen to me talk, or see what I do, and they find me. Like, I don't know, I guess I must let off some kind of aura that they like, or say something that they like, because I do attract a lot of those kinds of people. So yeah, next question.
Next question would be, where do you balance honesty and confrontational natures? So you talked about how honesty was really important for you, and you know, like, that was, I don't remember if that was the thing that you hated, is like people being dishonest, or what it was in your video, but honesty is really, really important. Yet I think that you're also very willing to you'd probably be very willing to, you know, be confrontational about some things, and kind of, you know, say it how it is, or, you know, just kind of tell somebody your opinion, or be kind of, you know, I think you could have a lot of force, or be a little bit forceful with some of those things. So how do you balance that honesty and confrontational aspect? Not that I can also be confrontational, but like, I wonder what kind of a dynamic that works for you. Are you, so I guess what I'm looking at there is, are you often diplomatic? Will you be diplomatic that way more often or not? I know some ENFJs, and I prefer to be more diplomatic with them. I can be crazy, and I can say things and get away with things, you know, talking with them, that I wouldn't be able to with other people, and that's really great. And then other times there's some stuff where I know I want to say it, and I know I want to argue the point, but I like them too much and just want to hang with them too much to argue the point. It's like a respect thing, or it's like a, you know, it's like, I'm going to be argumentative, they're going to be argumentative. There's no point. Why have blood in the water? It's just fun and good times. So I don't know what you would think about a dynamic like that.
Yes, honesty is very, very highly important to me, and I actually am quite a diplomatic person. As I've grown, I've got a bit more wiser at the way that I go about things and the way that I say things. Sometimes, depending on the topic, I will snap. Like, I cannot help it, because it's something I feel very, very passionate about, and yeah, someone can hit a nerve with me if they use the right words. But they usually back down when I get scary, because I do when it's something that I get passionate about, and I'm like very quick and on the ball with like wit and stuff like that. So whereas other people, like, they're very slow and they have to take a lot of time to think of something else to say, whereas I'm just straight like, yeah. So yeah, but I am diplomatic about the way that I deal with like honesty though. Like, I'll have my opinion, like I'm not just gonna hold back and not say how I feel, but at the same time I'm gonna look at what they've said or what they've wrote or whatever it is, or their actions or what it is that they're doing, and think about it. I'm very empathetic. I can really feel what other people are feeling and what other people are thinking. I'm very good at picking that. And sometimes it even gets me to be emotional. Somebody else is being emotional, it makes me emotional. Like, I think about how they feel, and then, you know, it like kind of eats me up on the inside. It's kind of how I can more often than not get people to do what I want them to do, because I know how they're feeling and I know how to get them back into their comfort zone, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think about things from their point of view and their side, and I try to incorporate that into my argument. I say, like, I can understand how you feel that way. This is how I feel, and that's the reasoning why. Can you understand that? Like, I'll put it into a different context so that they can understand it, and then they go, oh yeah, I can kind of understand why you feel that way. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have said it like that. I can understand why, like, you got offended, whatever. Because when you're an honest person, you have to take on board the fact that you might upset someone, you might make someone angry, because the truth hurts sometimes. It really does. You know, there's things like little white lies, like, you know, you're late for work, or sorry I was late, I was caught in traffic, you know, like, which does actually happen. I've had that happen quite a bit to me, but, like, you know, I mean, like, little things like that, but stuff that could be potentially damaging if it's kept from someone. I've had an incident where my friend asked me whether I knew whether her partner was cheating on her. And I didn't personally, but my partner at the time was his best mate. And I asked him about it, because of course he's my boyfriend, he's going to tell me. So he did, and it turns out that he had been. And I was like, oh my god, that's awful, how am I supposed to, I don't want to lie to my friend. So, you know, I was honest about it. I'm like, this is what he's told me, you know, I don't know why he'd lie to me, so, you know, that's it. And at first she was like, oh, you know, and believed me. And then when she spoke to her partner, he denied everything, and then it got turned back on me and, you know, ruined the friendship. And she said that I was trying to pull them apart, which I would have had no reason to do anyway, and that's really sad. Sometimes you have to accept accept the fact that things could go wrong if you tell the truth. But, you know, truth can get twisted, like he said, she said, like, you know, you could be wrong, but you think that you're telling the truth because, well, like, you don't know anything else, like, you haven't been given any evidence to anything else. So yeah, it is hard, and it is the risk that you take when you're an honest person, and I think that a lot of people don't want to take that risk, but I'm one of those people that will. Like, I've lost a lot of friends, you know, along the way, but because of, I guess, either the way I am or personality differences or whatever, but at the end of the day, I guess those people weren't meant to be a part of my life, and I'll appreciate the time that I had them in my life, but it's time to move on and be, you know, like, grow and get better and meet people that actually like me for who I am. Where I don't have to have, you know, constant arguments or disagreements or secrets. Like, I don't like secrets, and good secrets like surprise parties and stuff is okay, but secrets that could potentially harm someone if they found out the truth, yeah, I don't like the idea of that. Like, I'll be honest, like, if somebody tells me, oh, you know, don't tell anyone this, I'm like, why did you tell me? Like, if it really depends on what it is. If somebody wants me to keep a secret, like, I will, but, like, if it's something that could be potentially damaging, I'm like, no, well, you shouldn't, like, have told me. If they ask me about it, I'm going to tell them, like, you know. So yeah, honesty is a huge thing for me. I think people should be honest about the way they're feeling, because once it's out in the open and you're honest, it's been said, like, there's no, you know, grey area, it's black and it's white. Like, you've told people how you feel about this, so now they know, and they can choose to act however they want towards you about whatever it is. So yeah, so it is hard, but I've worked out how to kind of word things better, if that makes sense. My camera's about to die, so I hope that that explains everything to you in detail. You can send me another video if you want, and we can expand this video more. But I think this was pretty informative, and it was pretty fun for me too to actually be able to answer these questions, and for it to hit really close to home. Like, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of the things you said. Like, when I first did my personality test, I was like, wow, like, this is exactly what I'm like. This is really weird. Like, I can't believe somebody's actually like figured all this stuff out, all the different personality types. It's really interesting and it's really cool. So yeah, thank you for interviewing me, and yeah, it's been fun, and I wish you well. Bye.